And here we go. I'm Train Room Gary and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're at the prop shop in Warren, Michigan. We're going to walk through the main entrance here, take a look around. They specialize in RC boats, airplanes, cars, trucks, all kinds of things involving RC hobby, along with plastic models. So let's go inside and pick up an airplane, take it home and build it, and take it out to the RC field and fly it. So all aboard for a cool train room adventure, nope, can't say train room, airplane adventure on my YouTube channel. Okay, we're now inside the prop shop. Let's take a walk around and pick out an aircraft to take home and build. And then we'll go out to the Flying Pilgrims RC Field in Superior Township, Michigan. We're going to pick up this new airplane and go home and build it. This is Jean. She's going to ring us up. And she's with the prop shop. What am I buying today, Jean?
You're going to buy the Cirrus SR22T. Then you're going to buy this charger made by Spectrum.
Okay.
And a charger.
Oh, yeah. Battery. Okay.
And a prop.
And I already got the radio, so I guess I'm pretty well set to go then. Just bind and fly and
Ready to go.
hopefully I have no chaos at the field. All right, thanks, Gene. Ring me up. I'll hand you my credit card.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you, Gene, at the prop shop for all the help. We're now back at the train room, but let me just say we're outside the train room. The train room was back under these door walls here. That's where the basement is. But let's get this thing unboxed and put it together, and then we'll go out to the Flying Pilgrims RC Field and take it for a flight. Let's get going. All right, this is made by Horizon. It's a Cirrus. It's called Bind and Fly, which means it has ready to go except for the transmitter. Let's open it up and see what we have here. Let's take a look. Oh, got a little chaos here. Pretty tricky sliding out, but we got it out. Here's the instruction manual. Some type of amendment to it. And here's the airplane itself. So far, so good. Here's one of the wings. Landing gear. This is the fuselage. You gotta flip the box over, and on this side you take off this cardboard here, and on this side they have the elevator. There'd be two of those. And part of the landing gear. Here is the spar for the main wing. And of course here's the propeller and spinner. And the other landing gear on this side. Alright, there it is. A few more miscellaneous parts here. I think you've got the thing unboxed and ready to start the assembly process. Okay, we got the plane flipped over. I think we're on page 8 of the directions. The first thing is put the main landing gear into position. So there's a little bag of bolts here. They're 8mm. There's 8 in the bag, but we only need 2 of these. The way this works is this is going to slide in. Here's one of the main landing gears. And just slide in like that on each side of the fuselage. Alright, now we got the plane right set up. We got to remove the front cowling, and this is just going to just slide forward. It comes right off. Now the canopy or cockpit, where my fingers there's held in place by magnets. Just kind of give it a little push up. This should pop off. And then you see it pop off the hard way. All right, this is the control horn for the nose gear. It's got 3 holes in it. We're going to put the push rod that controls the front nose in the outer hole. Now we're going to back off this screw here before we start, just enough to make sure Then we get inside the aircraft that this slides on and it does. You're going to see a flat spot here. The screw will go into this flat spot. So we want to make sure this is okay before we get inside the aircraft. Okay, here's the front nose gear. We're going to put this into the receiver on the bottom of the fuselage. See how it goes in real nice? Good steering. Set it on a table and get the control arm ready to go in. We're now inside the front nose housing. We're adding the control arm to the Z-bin and the control arm then to the front nose wheel. Okay, we now have the plane flipped upside down, and this is the spar for the elevator. There's a hole here we got to get it through. Just feed that through. There's the spars now in. And there's two halves. You have two elevator halves. We're going to put these into position. This gray area, or this, it's like it's a boot for a real airplane for doing defrosting on a cold day. Let's get this put in. These are just going to slide in. I'm just going to do everything slowly. Check things out before I put it in the final position. That looks good there. Let's put on this side. I'm just going to bring it up. And I don't want to bring it over the home plate yet. Alright, it's pretty small, but I have two 10mm self-tapping screws. The directions have these things drawn to full scale, so you want to lay it on the sheet of paper there. Make sure you got the right one. Hopefully the magnet on my Phillips will hang on to these. I can drop it in without hitting the patio. Get these in. If you don't want to strip it out, snug them up. I found this driver with the bigger handle. It's a Husky brand. Gives me a little better control of the screw going in versus that smaller screwdriver. Put this one in. Snug it up. Okay, the elevator is now in place. We are now hooking up the rudder push arm to the rudder control horn. Okay, there's the snap. Make sure it's good to snap. You hear the snap sound there. That means we're in position. I can move this tissue paper out of the way. That should stay in place. Everything looks good. We got it in the hole nearest the elevator, and I got the snap fit here in the place, and hopefully you heard a snap. Alright, we got the plane upside down. We're going to put the spar in, and this is the little hole here in the side we're going to try to locate. Like I say, you don't want to force anything. Just work this in. It comes out the other side so it's balanced. I'm going to get a tape measure just make sure it's the same on both sides. I take a tape measure, I measure, it's 4 1/4 inches on both sides of this spar. Make sure it's centered properly. Alright, let's put the wings on. I'm going to hold the spar here, and there's a hole here for this to go into. Just bring it up. Once again, don't force anything. If you gotta force it, you're doing something wrong. Maybe I have something wrong here. There it is. Thing. Bring it across. The same thing. Don't force anything. Just flip things over. And snug them up. You'll feel it. It actually has threads on it, so should go in. That one's snugged it up. To the front one. Once again, you don't want to force anything. You're forcing it, you're doing something wrong. That one's in position. Go on the other side of the aircraft and do the same thing on this side. Just take your time, don't let the screwdriver fly out of the bolt because it'll poke a hole in the wing. Snugged up there to the front one. And we're snugged up. Let's flip the plane over and take a look at it. Our next phase of operation is the bind this radio to this receiver, and of course the company has a very detailed manual. It's also covered here in the instruction manual for this particular airplane. But this particular company, Spectrum, they have their own YouTube channel. If you want to learn more about it, I'd suggest you take a look at their YouTube channel. But I'm going to do an overview of how to create a new model and get this radio to work with that airplane. So let's get to work. I power up the transmitter. Just take a couple seconds for the initialize it. And now use the scroll wheel until you see system setup in the window. Okay, we found system setup. Add new model. Do you want to create a new model? Hit create. Right, check name model. Use the prompts and spell out Cirrus, the name of the aircraft. Alright, we now have the radio programmed. It says here Cirrus, and this is the kind of illustration of the airplane we'll be flying. It's a low wing airplane. Let's go ahead and now bind this transmitter to our Cirrus aircraft. Alright, in order to start the binding process, we have to install the battery. I use the smart batteries. And this happens to be a 2200, and it's a 30C. It's just 3 cell. So let's go ahead and put the battery in. Basically, it's just going to plug into this plug here. I'll plug that in, and we'll start the binding procedures. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to install the bind plug that comes with the aircraft. In here, there's a wire that says bind on it. This is the bind wire. So we're going to install the bind plug to the bind wire in the aircraft. Alright, so step one is install the bind plug. That says lower the throttle, we'll do that. Then it says connect the power, so let's connect the power. And look for the orange light inside. Then remove bind plug. And then power up the transmitter. The bind button down. Okay, now it's beeping at us. We're going to hold down the bind button here and power the transmitter. So we're going to bind this to get the safe programmed. Keep holding the bind button down. It says binding the Cirrus. And stop jumping around. Let go of the bind button. Let's see, we got elevator, aileron, throttle, got that. And let's just see if we got safe mode. See, as I move the airplane around, the safe mode or gyro is kicking into position. So we got the thing now bind this transmitter to this aircraft. All right, what we want to do now is assign the safe mode to this switch back here. Right now, the safe mode is full time. We want to make it so we can turn safe off. Once we can get used to the aircraft, we want to fly it like a real airplane. But safe, what it does, it keeps the airplane, if something goes wrong, you let go of the sticks, and it's like a built-in gyro where we turn everything back to neutral, and the plane will then you fly like an automatic drone. So We don't want that on all the time. So right now we're going to assign this top switch here, and it has a number on, I think it's switch A. So let's go ahead and do that. First step talks about power on the transmitter, so we're going to turn the transmitter on. So you see the transmitter is coming on. Then it says power up the aircraft, so we'll plug in the aircraft. You don't need no bind plug for this procedure. Alright, the airplane is now back to where it belongs. Just make sure we got everything working here, got everything working. Next step talks about hold both the transmitter sticks to the inside corners of the transmitter and then click that switch 5 times quickly. So what we're going to do here is we're going to move these 2 control arms to dead center, and then move this switch here 5 times to hear it dumping around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we got that to work. Let's let go and see what happens. Here's my up, and safe is still on. Let's turn safe off. It's working. See, when I move the airplane around, the ailerons ain't fluctuating. I turn the safe back on, you'll see them fluctuate. So we now have assigned the safe mode to this A switch on the transmitter. So that solves that problem. I want to do one more thing. I want to see if we can assign this switch here to be the automatic shutoff for the throttle. And that'll be it. Right, there's one more thing we need to set up here is a thing called throttle cutoff or motor cutoff. This is for safety. I want to show you how to set this switch up so the engine doesn't automatically come on and take off your fingers. So this is a safety device. So anytime you're working on the airplane, you want to have this thing working. Right now, this switch here is programmed to always be engine on. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to program a thing called motor cutoff. Let's do that. Here's this throttle cutoff. We're going to scroll down to throttle cutoff. We'll hit the throttle cutoff, which is these. Switch H. Okay, here's throttle. It's working. Go over here and put the safety switch on, and nothing happens. So it means you accidentally bump these sticks, it's not going to come on. So you're ready to fly, you put this thing back, and we have throttle. In the pit area or working on the airplane, you keep this switch forward. That's called a motor shut off. It's just for safety, especially on electric airplanes. You accidentally bump this and get smacked by the prop. Right now we're going to do the propeller and spinner installation. And when you do these bind and fly airplanes, this is the last thing you want to do for safety. You don't want the propeller on while you're working on the aircraft. Something could go wrong. So this is the last procedure. Take a wrench. There's a nut on the shaft. You're going to tighten that up. It'll get snug against the propeller. Right now we're going to put the spinner on. It basically just goes over it. And then there is a 8mm button head machine bolt that holds the spinner in place. Make sure it's snugged it up good. Okay, everything checks out. We have ailerons working okay, and we have elevator, and then rudder. I think I'm concerned about the front nose gear. Seems a little, not as much movement I'd like to have, but we'll get the feel we can straighten that out. I also checked out the center of gravity. So right now, the radio's bound up, the plane is ready to go. Let's go out to the RC field and fly this Cirrus. Okay, we're at the flying field. Let's go fly this new aircraft. We're at the Flying Pilgrims RC Field to fly this brand new Cirrus aircraft. Let's do it. Let's see how it
Crooked.
yeah, that's what I said. I was hoping I could compensate for that by turning it. Let's see, try to push it again.
What happened yesterday? You got your rudder's way off. Go to neutral. Okay.
So I'll hold left. Go ahead, push it now.
Oh, no. Go to neutral.
So I can't even get it to come back
So
around.
do you have the nose gear on a separate servo?
No, it's the same one the rudder is, but it's the
Well, then why don't you adjust it mechanically?
flip the plane over, and right here in the bottom there is a hatch. We'll open up this hatch, and we'll get a Phillips head screwdriver and go in here and adjust the control arm to the push rod that controls the front nose here. We're going down the taxiway here. This is a Cirrus Maiden flight. We got good steering too, John.
Good. There you go.
Yeah, good for the video. Please smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to get all the notifications from YouTube. And as always, cheers from Detroit and Mackinac Railway.
This is Train Room Pam.
This is Train Room Gary. Thanks for watching. Please check out these fine videos from my YouTube channel.